So welcome back to Ego, the skill provider. In this particular video lesson, I'm going to tell you some structures. And these structures are very important to speak English. So let me share the screen. Okay. So this is the screen before you. And you know that this is the flow chart. This is the flow chart to speak English. This is the flow chart to speak English. You are supposed to know some structure. Then some collocation classes I have taken, vocabs classes I have taken, and we are going to do a lot of practice with you. And the final product is spoken English, right? So right now, when it comes to structure, there are so many structures are there, all about tense and time, about verbs, all the things. Today, we are going to focus one of the important aspect of your structure that is called modal verbs. You might be thinking why I have taken the something called modal verbs, because modal verbs is highly required and it is highly confusing also. Why I am going to tell you little bit, I'm telling little bit in Odia. ଆପଣ ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି ଆପଣ ଯେତେବେଳେ ହାଇ ସ୍କୁଲ ଲେଭେଲରେ ପଢୁଥିଲେ ବା ଯେତେବେଳେ ପ୍ଲସ ଟୁ ରେ ଥିଲେ ଆପଣ ନିଶ୍ଚୟ ମୋଡାଲ ଭର୍ବ ବିକଜ ଇଂଲିଶ ଇଜ ଏ କମ୍ପଲସରୀ ସବଜେକ୍ଟ ଆପଣ ନିଶ୍ଚୟ ଯାଇଥିବେ ମୋଡାଲ୍ସ ଭର୍ବ ଉପରେ ତ ମୋଡାଲ୍ସ ଭର୍ବରେ ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ ପଢିଥିବେ ସାଲ ପାଇଁ କଣ ଲାଗେ ୱିଲ କୋଉଠି ଲାଗିବ କୁଡ୍ କୋଉଠି ଲାଗିବ ସୁଡ୍ କୋଉଠି ଲାଗିବ ଏଟା ହଉଛି ମୋଡାଲ ଭର୍ବs ତ ମାଇ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଇଜ ଦ୍ୟାଟ୍ ଇଟ୍ ଇଜ ହାଇଲି କନଫ୍ୟୁଜିଂ ଯୋଉଠି ମୋଡାଲ୍ସ ଲାଗୁଛି ସାଲ ଲାଗିଥିବ ସେଠି ଦେଖିବେ ସୁଡ୍ ଲାଗିଥିବ ଯୋଉଠି ସୁଡ୍ ଲାଗିଥିବ ଏଠି would ଲାଗିଥିବ it's highly confusing so how to actually use it ଆମେ କେମିତି use because it is all about whenever you are trying to learn something ମୁଁ କାଲି ବି ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କହୁଥିଲି like it is very important something called still I request everybody please mute it some private conversation coming so whenever it look କାଲି ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କଣ କହିଥିଲି we are learning something called conjunction ତ conjunction ରେ ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ବି କହିଥିଲି what you have learned in written English, don't apply it in spoken English. Otherwise, you will face problem. Because whenever you are in you are learning written English, you are trying to get a lot of Oriya words. यार Oriya word कौन हबो यार Oriya word कौन हबो but when we are trying to speak English you need situation so today I am going to tell you about situation what is the situation because without modals you cannot form a sentence you are telling a lot of modal verbs. So today our topic is that modal verbs in spoken English. And believe me, it comes under structure. I'm a structure rate out. Okay. So what exactly I'm going to learn? I am going to teach you today. That is something called modals in spoken English. Sometimes it is called modals or modal verbs. Both are correct. So you might be thinking, ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଗୋଟେ question ଥାଇପାରେ कौन सर स्पोकन इंग्लिश ପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ modals ଅଛି ଆଉ written ପାଇଁ କିଛି modals ଅଛି କି no the modals are equally same but the approach is entirely different the way you are trying to learn in written English is entirely different from spoken English so here the adaptability of something called the uses the adaptability the approach is completely different it's nothing साल रो जो व्यवहार अछि in written English रे we are going to do the same uses here but with there will be a change of approach hame approach change kar do okay so today our topic is modals in spoken English I'm going to teach you 2 days today and tomorrow it will take completely 2 days and I'm sure once the session is over you should not have any doubt at all obviously most people are asking me sir I am not getting a distant answer when I'll use would where I can use should. Is there any difference between would and should? What is the difference between would and used to? So it is really highly confusing because you are not getting pen and paper to find out what is correct, what is wrong. There is no fill in the blanks. Here you are supposed to use it in your day-to-day life. Okay. So before that, let me observe from these following sentences. देखो आराम से पढ़ो what I have written. He will go to market. He may go to market. She may go to market. They will go to market. They will go to market. He will go to market. She may go to market. He may go to market. They will go to market. He will go to market. He may go to market. He will go to market. He may go to market. He will go to market. He may go to market. He will go to market. He may go to market. He will go to market. He may go to market. He will go to market. He may go to market. He will go to market. He may go to market. He will go to market. He may go to market. He will go to market. He may go to market. He will go to market. He may go to market. He will go to market. He may go to market. He will go to market. He may go to market. He will go to market. He may go to market. He will go to market. He may go to market. He will go to market. He may go to market. He will go to market. He may go to market. He will go to market. He may go to market. He will go to market. He may go to market. He will go to market. He may go to market. He will go to market. he has to go to market, he must go to market, he can go to market, needs to go to market, he should go to market, he might go to market. Just check out the sentences. Quite interesting. Okay. So here you check it out. He, everything he is common. To market, to market, to market, common. So what is changing actually? Will, may, has to, must, can, needs, should, might. These are changing. And what they indicate actually? What exactly they indicate? Look at the right side of the explanation. Will represents future action. May represent future possibility. Don't worry. This is the introduction. Has to represent something called compulsion. What is compulsion? You have to do that. Compulsion, you are forced to do that. ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଇଚ୍ଛା ନାହିଁ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ କରିବା ପାଇଁ କିନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ବାଧ୍ୟ ହଉଛନ୍ତି. There are so many situations in life. ଦେଖିବେ like no ଟିକେ ବାହାରେ ଶୀତ ଲାଗୁଛି, like ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଇଚ୍ଛା ନାହିଁ ଯିବା ପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ ଜାଗାକୁ, but still you are forced to go. That time, that is called compulsion. You must go to market. Obligation, you are obliged. That is also compulsion, but it is the highest form of compulsion. He can go to market. It's called ability. जोटा हमें कहूचे दक्षता, dexterity. He needs to go to market. That's called requirement. He should go to market. It is called suggestion. He might go to market. Remote possibility. So look at the things. ଆପଣ ଯେତେବେଳେ ୟୁଜ କରିଦଉଛନ୍ତି ଏଇ modals ଗୁଡାକ, there are so many modals are there. ଆପଣ ନିଜେ ଦେଖୁଛନ୍ତି whenever you are trying to use these modals, okay, something called I'm going to highlight it. This is something called I'm going to highlight. This is also may. This is I'm going to highlight. Okay. So this is something called may. This is called has to. Okay. 1 minute. This is called has to. Okay. I'm going to highlight it. And this is called must. I'm going to highlight it. Something called can. Okay. I'm going to highlight it for you also. The next one is called needs. That is called also a modal. The next one is called should. Okay. This is something called should. That is also a modal. Okay. So just check it out. So today this is the introduction class and I am also going to discuss some of the things. Ajitharu apankar modals upare kichi problem rahibani. And some of my old learners like Ashok sir, Muktikant sir, they have already taken this class, but it's a revised class for them. And for new joinee, it's a new class. So just check it out. I have highlighted something. Will, may, has to, must, can, needs, should, might. ଏଇ ଗୁଡା ଶବ୍ଦ ଗୁଡାକ ଯେତେବେଳେ ସେଣ୍ଟେନ୍ସ ରେ ଲାଗୁଛି ସେ ଗୋଟେ ଡିଫରେଣ୍ଟ ପର୍ସପେକ୍ଟିଭ ରେ ୟୁଜ ହଉଛି. They are not equally, they are not equal. Look at the will represent future action, may represent future possibility, has to something called compulsion, must obligation, can ability, needs requirement, should suggestion, might possibility, remote possibility. Look, this forget about right, no left one. Left side को forget कर जानतो, right side को आसंतो. Future action, future possibility, compulsion, obligation, ability, requirement, suggestion, remote possibility. These are called few situations that is coming in your life or comes in your life every day. You cannot deny it. These are called situation. Are you getting my point, everybody? The right side, whatever I have written it here, no, this is called situation in your life. A situation re apun English kemti kahibe if you don't know modals. So that's why modals are very important. ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ଜାଗାକୁ ଫର ଏକ୍ସାମ୍ପଲ ଆପଣ ଯାଇପାରନ୍ତି ନ ଯାଇପାରନ୍ତି, ଆପଣ କହିବେ ହଁ ମୁଁ ଯାଇପାରେ ନ ଯାଇପାରେ ଏମିତି କହୁଛନ୍ତି, ତ that is called remote possibility. So how exactly you are going to construct a sentence? Suppose ଆପଣ ଜଣଙ୍କୁ ସଜେସନ ଦଉଛନ୍ତି ଏଇଟା ତମେ କର ବୋଲି. Suppose ମୋର ଥଣ୍ଡା ହେଇଛି and Prakash sir is my best friend. ମତେ ସେ ଦେଖିଲେ, ପ୍ରସନ୍ନ ବାବୁ ଆପଣ ଟିକେ ହସ୍ପିଟାଲ ଯାଆନ୍ତୁ, ବହୁତ ଥଣ୍ଡା ହେଇଯାଇଛି ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ. तो इट इज ए काइंड ऑफ सजेशन तो सेटा से केमती इंग्लिश रे कहबे something I require some things right now so how can I tell suppose I have certain ability I can dance ମୁଁ ଡ୍ୟାନ୍ସ କରିପାରୁଛି so how exactly I can express suppose ମୋର ଗୋଟେ ଇଚ୍ଛା ନାହିଁ କାମ କରିବା ପାଇଁ କିନ୍ତୁ ମୋତେ ବାଧ୍ୟ କରାଯାଉଛି ଆଉ ମୁଁ କରିବା ପାଇଁ ବାଧ୍ୟ ହଉଛି ମୁଁ ସେଇ ସମୟରେ କେମିତି କହିବି so unless until you know something called modals you cannot express this situation so the right side are called situations in your life ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଲାଇଫ ରେ ଏଭଳିଆ ସିଚୁଏସନ ଆସୁଛି ତାକୁ କହିବା ପାଇଁ ଆପଣ you are supposed to learn something called modals and that is why modals are pretty important in your life and today this is the introduction class ଆପଣ आराम से you know don't take even I can take also I can extend to 3 days but you have to learn everything bit by bit it is very important it's not about written English written English modals is completely different from that of spoken English I'll tell you everything I'll tell you the difference why it is there is a difference okay so what exactly we learn these are called modals okay can could will would may might shall should must need dare used to have to ought to these are called modal verbs or modals and you have a misconception एटे misconception कहि दउछि अपन जे स्कूल रे पढुथिले बा you have already you know might have come across that अपन एटे गोटे past tense and present tense कर दउथिले can रो कोन can हला present tense past tense हला could shall रो should may रो might if that is correct मु अपन गोटे एटे क्वेश्चन करूची shall रो कोन ना should shall ता जदी present tense should ता होची past tense अपन मानकर ए कांसेप्ट अछि जदी सेटा अछि ताले I shall go माने मु जिबी मु कहि मु गल्ली past tense रे मु कहूची कि I should go अपन कहूछ नाही सर ताले काहे कि नुह so remember each modals are different from one another don't try to club it present and past से कांसेप्ट ता भूली जानतु एबे आपण जो क्लब करिके पढुछंती माने दी दिटा हळी हळी करिके लाइक वन can could may might shall should आपण जे पचेर shall ता कोन ना shall ता होची present tense past tense होची should ताले मु एबे आपण कोंतु present tense रे मु आपण कहले I shall go ता माने ता कोन मु जिबी ता past tense रे I should go कहउछंती कि आपण no so remember these are called individual modals and each modals represent a particular situation that's all can रो जो situation could रो से situation नुहे might रो जो situation सेटा may रो से situation नुहे जोटा used to the situation सेटा must रो situation नुहे so you always remember they are called independent entity they are called distinct words don't try to club it that's past tense present tense no don't do like this don't commit the same mistake that you have already committed in your high school days so always feel that ame jo modals padhiba we are going to learn it individually suppose I'm going to give an example of can so can means how exactly what is the situation mu apan ko already kahi deichi every time whenever you are trying to learn spoken English I am trying to explain you through SBL technique what is SBL situation based learning tamane ko situation re eta ବ୍ୟବହାର କରିବା okay it is all about situation ଆମ କିଛି ନୂଆ ଜିନିଷ ଜାଣିବାର ନାହିଁ এই situation ରେ ଏଇଟା ମୁଁ ବ୍ୟବହାର କରିବି that's over and you can easily use it look here are some of the situation future action you are doing something in the future that is called future action future possibility it is something called happens in the future there is a possibility that is called future possibility compulsion obligation requirement suggestion so these are called situation in your life तो प्रत्येक सिचुएशन ପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ modals ଅଛି and that is the point of discussion for today okay so let me tell you these are something called the modals okay so what is the nature of the modals look modals never change their form that's very important for example what I can tell you suppose ame कहूचे like मु गोटे verb कहबिची v1 ता v2 v3 form अछि for example go let me give an example very small, I mean, a very common verb, go. We say went and we call it gone. So, you know that go is the V1 form. Okay, this is the V1 form and something called V2 form, and this is called V3 form. But modals has no forms, just like modals. You cannot say can, could like this. Nothing like this. Can means it is a modal. That's all. That's the things you are supposed to. କାହିଁକି ନା ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଯୋଉ କନସେପ୍ଟ ଥିଲା ଆଗରୁ ଯେ ପ୍ରତ୍ୟେକର ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରେଜେଣ୍ଟ ଟେନ୍ସ ପାଷ୍ଟ ଟେନ୍ସ ଅଛି, नो डोंट डू लाइक दिस. प्रत्येक मॉडल्स गोटे गोटे सिचुएशन जगह हम व्यवहार करबा. We are going to use each model or every model in a particular situation. So that's why ଯେମିତି ଆମେ କହୁଛେ like you know ଗୋଟେ ଏଟା ହଉଛି ଗୋଟେ main verb. ଗୋଟା ଗୋଟେ main verb. It's an action. So modal is not an action word. It is a verb. କିନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣଙ୍କର କଣ କୁହାଯାଇଛି ଯେ actually it's an action word. So that's a problem. There are certain words we call it modal verbs, but it's not action word. I shall कौन आपण बुझिले, but जदि आपण कहि I go आपण बुझछन्ती जिबा कथा पडिछ बोधे. I eat or I am eating मु कहि I shall किछि आपण बुझनांती. So obviously modals never change their forms. They never change their form. Just like go, went, gone, they don't do like this. Okay, they always followed by a bare infinitive. I meant to say that I shall go, I shall wear hoboni. Infinitive माने बुझछन्ती base form of the verb. That is something called base form of the verb. You cannot say I shall went. Na hobani. Modal saito base form lagibo. What is base form? That is the V1. That is the infinitive form. You can say bare infinitive. You can say V1 or base form. Three are same things. तो एठी आपण कहिबे एमती आपण कहि परिबे कि I shall go, correct. I shall went हबनी. I shall gone हबनी. Only they always followed by a bare infinitive or base form of the verb. You can say I shall go. आपण केबे भी कहि परिबेनी I shall went. Okay. Observe the following sentences. I have to go there. I must go there. The first sentence reflects compulsion, whereas the second sentence reflects obligation. The modal set the mood or tone of the sentence. That's very important. देखिथिबे आपनकर पारिपार्श्विक स्थिति आपनकर मूड टाको चेंज करूची. Suppose आपण ऑफिस को जाउछंती, your boss is very happy today, so you are very happy, right? You are enjoying. But boss आपण टे रागी गले बा आपण का सहित टिके झगड़ा हे गला, so entire mood खराब हे जाउची. The same happens in the family itself, right? So whenever you are inside a family also, the same thing happens. Whenever there is some degree of something happens, couple or some degree of discussion happen that is go beyond your problem, sometimes you don't like it, so आपण mood खराब हे जाउची, mood off हे जाउची. So exactly modal set the mood of the verb. गोटे सेंटेंस रो the tone ta ba mood ta kiye change करे, that is something called the modals. Okay, so that is very important. So what we have learned today, the modals are very important because they represent a particular situation. किछि situation अछि, से situation जदि आपण modals न लगेबे कहि परिबेनी, you are not able to speak it up, so that is called modal verbs. जदि आपण न आपण कहि सर हम modals पढिबानी, ठीक अछि, but there are certain situation you cannot express in English because you don't know modals. So that's why modals are very important. Okay, so let's try to learn some modals. The first thing is called, yes
Sir, I have a question, sir.
yeah please sir.
Sir, compulsion and obligation, sir, I don't understand, sir.
I'll explain it sir, don't worry, because it's coming. Mo देखो compulsion माने कोन होला देखो. Let me take आपण क्वेश्चन पचारलानी, I'm ready to answer that. Okay, compulsion is something called, गोटे एग्जांपल दउची, आई एम क्रिएटिंग ए सिचुएशन. देखंतु आपण वर्तमान सर प्रकाश सर लाइक नो यू आर वर्किंग बिकॉज आपण दिल कहूची देयर यू हैव ए फैमिली टू फीड. तो आपण ऑफिस को जाउछंती बाध्य रे जाउना, आपण को दिल कहूची कारण आपण को ऊपर गोटे फैमिली निर्भर करूची. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड ओब्लिगेशन. କିନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ଜାଗାକୁ ଗୋଟେ ପିଲାକୁ ଡାକୁଛନ୍ତି, ଆପଣ ଖେଳୁଛି, ଆପଣଙ୍କ ସାନ ଭାଇ ଗୋଟେ ଖେଳୁଥିବ, he was playing somewhere else, ତାର ଇଚ୍ଛା ନାହିଁ ସେ ଫିଲ୍ଡ ଛାଡିବା ପାଇଁ, ବଟ୍ ଆପଣ ଡାକିଲେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଫୋନ କଲେ ସେ କଣ କହୁଛି, ଜମା ତାର ଇଚ୍ଛା ନାହିଁ ସେ ଆସିବା ପାଇଁ, ବଟ୍ ସେ ଜବରଦସ୍ତି ଆସୁଛି. That is called compulsion. That means you are forced to do something. That is called compulsion. Deal ରୁ କିଛି କରୁଛନ୍ତି, you feel that it is required for me, मेरे को करना है, because it's bread and butter issue. So that is ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ, right now if I'll give an example, suppose जो क्लास टी करूଛନ୍ତି ଆପଣ 8:30 ରେ, it is not compulsion, it is obligation, because ଆପଣ ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି ବୋଧେ କ୍ଲାସ ମାଧ୍ୟମରେ I can improve myself, I can improve my personality, I can improve my communication skill, so it is required for my future growth. So that is called obligation. କିନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ପିଲାକୁ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ପାଠ ପଢିବା ପାଇଁ, ତାର ଉଦ୍ଦେଶ୍ୟ ନାହିଁ, ବଟ୍ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ମାନେ you are getting angry with me, ସେ ଆପଣ ରାଗିଲା ପରେ ସେ ପଢୁଛି, that is called compulsion. Now it's clear, sir? Are you getting my point? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
whenever you say compulsion, that means actually ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଦିଲ କହୁନି କରିବା ପାଇଁ, ମନ କହୁନି କରିବା ପାଇଁ, but ଆପଣ ବାଧ୍ୟ ହଉଛନ୍ତି. So that is called compulsion. But whenever you say obligation, that means it is from your side you are doing. Suppose your father is in the hospital, you can say I must go there because it's required. Your father, he has been hospitalized, you must go. Nobody is forcing you. But whenever you are trying to call a child from the playground, come and study, then how he is going to react to his colleagues, or you can say his classmates? Look, my father is calling, so mate jibar ଅଛି ଭାଇ, my father will beat me, so ମୁଁ ଯାଉଛି, ତାର ଉଦ୍ଦେଶ୍ୟ କୋଉଠି ଅଛି, ଖେଳିବାରେ, କିନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ମାଡ ଭୟରେ ସେ ଆସୁଛି. So that is called compulsion. So something called compulsion, external force. External force. Obligation, internal force. Now it's clear to everybody? Yes or no? ବୁଝିପାରୁଛନ୍ତି ସମସ୍ତେ? External force ପଡିଲା ପରେ ଆପଣ ଯୋଉ କାମଟା କରନ୍ତି, that is called compulsion. But there is called internal force, you are forced to do that. Yes, मेरे को करना है, I must do that. That is something called internal force. Internal means you are forcing yourself, that is called obligation. But whenever you say compulsion, that is nobody is forcing you, but you are trying to do that. So that is called, a compulsion. Okay, right now let's learn some verbs. The first one is called shall and will. Okay, so shall and will ଆପଣ ତ ପଢିଥିବେ ନିଶ୍ଚୟ, shall ଟା ହବ, will ଟା ବି ହବ, both are correct. Yes, both are correct, but you might not know the difference. The difference is that shall is a British term and will is an American English. ମୁଁ କହିଥିଲି, we are learning two English, my friends. ଆଉ ଆପଣ ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଇଂଲିଶ ଟା କାହିଁ ଡିଫିକଲ୍ଟ ହୁଏ? ଆପଣ unknowingly ଦିଟା ଇଂଲିଶ ପଢୁଛନ୍ତି. One is called American English, other is called British English. And we Indians are forced to learn two. It's just like father is telling the kid to stand up, mother is telling to sit down. So you know the situation of the child. Child କଣ କରିବ? ମାମାଙ୍କ କଥା ଶୁଣିବ ନା ବାବାଙ୍କ କଥା ଶୁଣିବ? ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ଟା ସାର୍ ସେଇଆ ହେଇଯାଉଛି ଆମର. Sometimes we are forced to learn American English, we are forced to learn British English. Shall is a British term. You will never find an American speaking with shall. ଯଦି ଆପଣ ଗୋଟେ ଲୋକଟେ like ଗୋଟେ English speaking person ତା ଜୀବନରେ ସେ will ମାନେ shall ଲଗଉନି, ଆପଣ ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି ସେ belongs to America. He belongs to America only. So basically will is an American term and shall is British term. ଆମେ କହୁଛେ I will go, ମୁଁ ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ କଣ ହେଲା, ମୁଁ ଯିବି. I shall go ମାନେ ମୁଁ ଯିବି, future action, uncertain future, ମୁଁ ଯାଇପାରେ ନ ଯାଇପାରେ, there is a 50-50 chance. ଆମେ କଣ ପଢିଛନ୍ତି, ଦିଟାକ ଓକା? No, they are not equal. One is called American English, other is called British English. Shall is called American English, will is called British English. Now the question is that, are you going to follow American English or British English? आपका मर्जी, ଆପଣ ଯୋଉଟା ଭଲ ଲାଗୁଛି follow କରନ୍ତୁ, but follow one. Don't try to look. ଆପଣ ଦିଟା ଯେମିତି କହିଲି, don't be a child where father is giving you instruction and mother also giving you instruction. ତ ଆପଣ କାହା କଥା ଶୁଣେ, ଜଣଙ୍କ କଥା ଶୁଣନ୍ତୁ, otherwise you will be storm, you cannot do anything. So that is the things. जदि आपण भाबुचंती मो साल टा यूज करले मते ठीक लागुची यूज इट आई ऑलवेज यूज विल आई नेवर यूज साल केबेठो मु जेबेठो जानिले सब जिंस अछि आपण जदि मते मो लाइक नो चाइल्डहुड कथा पचारिबे आई हैव ए सेम चाइल्डहुड लाइक यू सर आई एम नॉट डिफरेंट गाय I'm an Oriya medium school student coming from the same background, vernacular things. But whenever I come to know, no, there is something called I shall go and I will go. One is called American English, other is called British English. Then I have to follow one. Otherwise, I cannot speak this language. Then I always follow American English. So better follow American English. It's my suggestion, and it's up to you. Always say I will go, I will go, I will do that. All the things with I always we use will. Okay. So this is called American English, or that is called British English. Okay. Right now, second one, situational expressing ability. First, try to understand what is your ability. Ability is an internal things that you can exhibit it. You can exhibit. For example, ମୁଁ dance କରିପାରେ ଏବେ ମୁଁ dance କରୁଛି କି sir? I have the ability. Ability is something internal. ଆପଣ ଯଦି କହିବେ what do you mean ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ ଦକ୍ଷତା କୁହାଯାଏ ଓଡ଼ିଆ କଥା ଆଲୋଚନା କରନ୍ତୁ it's a problem situation ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଦଉଛି try to understand what is the situation there is something called ability what is your ability suppose I can dance so dancing is my ability ability means I am not dancing every day try to understand my point ତାମାନେ ମୁଁ ଦିନ ସାରା ନୃତ୍ୟ କରୁନି but ମୋର ନୃତ୍ୟ କରିବାର capacity ଅଛି if I say I can drive ତାମାନେ ମୁଁ 24 hour driving କରେନି I am not a driver but ମୁଁ drive କରିପାରେ I have the ability I have the capacity I have the dexterity it is an internal quality that you develop suppose I can speak English ତା ମାନେଟା କଣ ହେଲା ମୁଁ 24 ସାର English କହୁନି but English କହିବାର ଦକ୍ଷତା ମୋ ପାଖରେ ଅଛି that is an internal quality so whenever you say ability ଆମେ ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ ତାକୁ ପଢି ପଢି ଆସିଛନ୍ତି ଦକ୍ଷତା ଦକ୍ଷତା କଣ ଦକ୍ଷତା what do you mean by that where exactly you can use suppose ମୁଁ କହିବି ଯେ like you know Sujay sir can you cook yes sir I can cook ତା ମାନେ କଣ 24 hours ସେ cook କରୁଛନ୍ତି no but whenever there is a situation he can cook so it is his internal quality that is called ability so ability you cannot show unless until it is exhibited there are certain situations in your life to exhibit your character that is something called ability suppose ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଗୋଟେ like you know ବନ୍ଧୁ ମିଳନ ହଉଛି there is a get together ତ ସେଇଠି ଆପଣ dance କଲେ ତ ତାମାନେ କଣ you show your ability there you can dance people say wow you can dance also we did not know that here no yaar I can dance ତାମାନେ କଣ 24 hour dance କରୁଥିଲେ no it's not like that you can dance means you are not a dancer but you have the capacity to dance so that is called expressing ability whenever you want to express ଆପଣଙ୍କର ଗୋଟେ particular quality ଅଛି the quality ଟାକୁ ଆପଣ express କରିବା ପାଇଁ you can use shall sorry you can use can that is called present ability suppose ଆପଣ ଜାଣୁଛନ୍ତି ମୁଁ English କହି ପାରୁଛି ତ ଆପଣ ଯେମିତି କହିବେ ପ୍ରସନ୍ନ sir can speak English ତାମାନେ କଣ ମୋର ଗୋଟେ ability ଅଛି ବୋଲି ଆପଣ ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି ତ ସେମିତି ମନେକର ମୁଁ ଜାଣିଛି like ମାନିନ madam can sing ତ ମୁଁ କହିପାରିବି like you know ସେ madam sing କରିପାରନ୍ତି like you know most of the time he cannot sing but he can sing he is not singing every day it is an internal quality so for present ability you can use can for past ability what is past ability you are supposed to do something in the past but the same ability is not with you let me give an example suppose apano when you are young you can do a lot of work you can walk 10 kilometers 5 kilometers when you grew old so that time you cannot walk ତାମାନେ ଆପଣ ସେଇ ସମୟରେ କଣ କହିବେ ଏଟା ମୁଁ କରି ପାରୁଥିଲି right now it is difficult for everybody to dance କିନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଛୋଟ ପିଲା ହେଇଥିଲେ you are dancing that time ତ ଆପଣ କହିବେ when I was a child I could dance so that is something called expressing of past things so that is something called past ability and this is called present ability okay so can is used for present ability and could is used for past ability let me give an example here I can swim in the river I can swim in the river right now I can say I can swim that means I know how to swim ମତେ ଜଣା ଅଛି କିନ୍ତୁ ମୁଁ ସଦାବେଳେ କରେନି I could walk 10 kilometer at a stretch when I was very young. ମୁଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ୟଙ୍ଗ ଥିଲି ସେଇ ସମୟରେ ଏକାଥରକେ ମୁଁ 10 କିଲୋମିଟର ଚାଲିକି ଯାଇ ପଡୁଥିଲି. So that was my past ability. These days I become old. I am not getting time. I don't have that much of practice, so I cannot walk. So that is something called present ability and past ability. How exactly you are going to express. Okay. So this is something called first ame kon padle uncertain future. Always use will, don't use shall because it's confusing. And for expressing ability, you can use for can, for present ability, and for past ability, use could. Okay. Let me complete another two things. Okay. Right now, you are trying to make request. Why making request is important? ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଜୀବନରେ ରିକ୍ୱେଷ୍ଟ କରୁନାହାନ୍ତି କାହାକୁ? You are request. I am making request. Everybody is making request. Request ଆପଣ କରନ୍ତି. Whenever you are in needy, what exactly you do? You make request. You make request to everybody because situation is like this. So remember, for making request, use always could. That's all. ଆପଣ ପୁଣି କହିବେ ସାର୍ ମୁଁ ପଢିଥିଲି would ରେ ବି ହେଇପାରିବ, can ରେ ହେଇପାରିବ. That's a problem. Something called American English, something called British English. Then it is just like ଆପଣ ଦେଖିବେ, ଆପଣ ପଢିଥିବେ ସମସ୍ତେ ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ modals ର 5ଟା ୟୁଜ ହଉଥିବ. It is just like ଆପଣ କୋଉଠି କୋଉଟା ୟୁଜ କରିବେ. That's why you are not fluent. ମୁଁ କହିଥିଲି ନା ଗୋଟେ ଚାଇଲ୍ଡ କୁ ଆପଣ 5ଟା ଇନଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ସନ ଦେବେ ସେ କଣ କରିବ. ତ ସେମିତି you are just like a child. ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ମୋଡାଲ୍ସ ଗୋଟେ ମୋଡାଲ୍ସ ର 5ଟା ସୂତ୍ର ଦିଆଯାଉଛି. ଏଟା ଏଇଠି ୟୁଜ କରିବ, ସେଟା ସେଠି ୟୁଜ କରିବ, ଏଟା ଏଇଠି ୟୁଜ କରିବ. Then you become very problematic. So create a situation and what is the corresponding modals. That's all. ମତେ ରିକ୍ୱେଷ୍ଟ କରିବାର ଅଛି ମୁଁ could ଲଗେଇବି over. Then you can be fluent. ଆପଣ ସମସ୍ତେ fluent ହେବା ପାଇଁ ଚାହୁଁଛନ୍ତି. I want to be fluent, sir. I want to speak English confidently. How you'll do it? You are always in a confused state of mind. Sir, এটা କଣ ସାଲରେ ବା ଲାଗିବ ଏଇଟା? ସାର୍ କହିଥିଲେ. That is the problem. The teacher doesn't know there is something called American English. This is called British English. So always only one modal for a particular situation. There is a situation, there is a corresponding modals over. And that's why you can be fluent. Okay. So whenever you are trying to make request, what a particular situation ଆସିଲା, ଆପଣ request କରନ୍ତି. For example, ମୁଁ ଏବେ ବି ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ example ଦଉଛି. ଆପଣ ମାନେ ଏଇଟା ମାନଙ୍କର ବୁଝି ପାରିନଥିଲେ. ଆପଣ ଟିକେ ଡେରିରେ ଜଏନ କଲେ. ତ ଆପଣ କହିବେ ସାର୍ ଆଉ ଟିକେ ପଛ ସ୍ଲାଇଡ୍ ଟା ଦେବେ କି? I want to take a screenshot. ତ ସେଇଟା ମତେ ଆପଣ ରିକ୍ୱେଷ୍ଟ କଲେ. ତ use could. Could you tell me the way forward to the school? Could you please lend me your bike? Could you please show me the next slide? That's all. Could you please repeat the word? The could is used for making request. That's all. Don't try to create a lot of confusion. ଆପଣ ଜାଣିଲେ future action ପାଇଁ will ବ୍ୟବହାର କରିବେ. Present ability ପାଇଁ can, past ability ପାଇଁ could, and making request ପାଇଁ could. That's all. Look, could is used in two ways. One is called past ability and something called making request also. So that is why they are independent things. ସେଟା ଆପଣ କହୁଥିଲେ ନା can ମାନେ present tense, could ମାନେ past tense. ତାହେଲେ past କଣ making request କାଇଁ past ହେଲା? You don't have an answer for that. So that's why each individual ମାନେ ପ୍ରତ୍ୟେକ ଆମର ଯାହା ବି modals ଅଛି, ପ୍ରତ୍ୟେକ modals ର କାମ ହଉଛି ଭିନ୍ନ ଭିନ୍ନ. The function of each and every modal is completely different from one another. Can ର ଯୋଉ କାମ could ର ସେଇ କାମ ନୁହେଁ. So don't try to club it. Okay. So whenever you are trying to make request, always feel free that use could. That's all. Could you please hear me? Could you please call me? Like that. Could you please lend me $5? Could you please take me through you? Could you please give me a book? Like that. You are trying to make request. ଆପଣ ଜୀବନରେ request କରନ୍ତି. You need financial help, ଆପଣ request କରନ୍ତି. ମାର୍କେଟକୁ ଆଣିଦେବା ପାଇଁ request କରନ୍ତି. କିଛି ଲେଖିଦେବା ପାଇଁ request କରନ୍ତି. There are hell number of issues are there where you need, it is required for you to make request. And whenever there is a request, feed into your mind. I have to make request. ମତେ request କରିବି. କେମିତି କରିବି ନା could ଲଗେଇକି. That's all. That is something called making request. The next one, offer help or make suggestion. That's very important also. Okay, କିଛି କିଛି ଜାଗାରେ ଆପଣ ଅଫର ମାନେ ହେଲ୍ପ ଦିଅନ୍ତି ତାଙ୍କୁ and suggestion ମଧ୍ୟ କରନ୍ତି, suggest କରନ୍ତି ଏଇ କଥାଟା କର ସେଇ କଥାଟା କର, right? So let me give an example. What is help? For example, like Prakash sir you have find me one of the bus stops. I'm standing there. ତ ସାର୍ ମତେ କହିବେ ସାର୍ ଆପଣ ଏଠି କଣ କରୁଛନ୍ତି? ମୁଁ ସାର୍ ଆସିଥିଲି ଟିକେ ବାଇକ୍ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ହେଇଗଲା କି ମୋ କାର ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ ହେଇଗଲା, ତ ଆପଣ କଣ କହିବେ? ଠିକ ଅଛି ସାର୍ ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଛାଡିଦେବି। ତ ଆକ୍ଚୁଆଲି ୟୁ ଜଷ୍ଟ ନାଇଁ ଅଫର ମି ସମ ହେଲ୍ପ, ଆପଣ ଅଫର ହେଲ୍ପ କଲେ। sometimes you say don't worry I am with you, ଆପଣ କିଛି ଅସୁବିଧା ନାହିଁ ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ସହିତ ଅଛି, that means you are offering help and also you are making some suggestion also. Lots of time you are making suggestion, just like you can say like अरे ଆପଣଙ୍କ ଦେହ ଖରାପ ଅଛି ନା ଟିକେ ଡକ୍ଟର କୁ ଦେଖା କରନ୍ତୁ, ତ ସେଟା ଆପଣ ମତେ ଅର୍ଡର ଦେଲେ କି? No, you just make a suggestion, that is a suggestion. Sometimes ଆପଣ ବି suggestion କରନ୍ତି କେମିତି ଯେ like most of the time you are roaming here and there, it's not good, ଟିକେ ପାଠ ପଢାରେ ଧ୍ୟାନ ଦିଅ, it is also suggestion. So most of the time you are offering help or making suggestion. So remember, two things are there, check it out. Shall is used for British English and should is used for American English. Choice is yours. shall ଆପଣ ଯୋଉ କହୁନଥିଲେ shall ଟା ସାର୍ future tense ରେ ଲାଗୁଛି, ତାପରେ shall ମଧ୍ୟ ଆମ ଟିଚର କହିଥିଲେ ସେଟା ସଜେସନ ଦବା ପାଇଁ। କଣ ପାଇଁ କହିଥିଲେ? ବିକଜ ଅଫ ଦିଟା ଇଂଲିଶ ଆମେ ପଢୁଛନ୍ତି ସାର୍, ବୁଝନ୍ତୁ ଏଇଠି କମ୍ପ୍ଲିକେସି ଆସୁଛି। ତ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆପଣ ଦେଖୁଛନ୍ତି ମଲ୍ଟିପୁଲ ଇନଷ୍ଟ୍ରକ୍ସନ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଯାଉଛି, ମୁଁ ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଦେଖେଇ ଦେବା ପାଇଁ ଏଇଟା କହିଛି। ମୁଁ ଏଇଟା ଲେଖିନଥାନ୍ତି କିନ୍ତୁ ଆପଣ ଜାଣିବା ଦରକାର there is something called American English, there is some British English. ମୁଁ ଇଂଲିଶରେ କୋଉଟା କହିବି ଆପଣ ଯୋଉଟା କହିଲେ ଠିକ ହବ, ବିକଜ ସ୍ପୋକନ ରେ ଦିଟା ଠିକ, but when it written English always follow British English. ଯଦି ଆପଣ ଆମେରିକାନ ଇଂଲିଶ ଫଲୋ କରୁଛନ୍ତି then you will be big failure in India. ମୁଁ ଆଜିଠୁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ସତର୍କ କରିଦଉଛି, ଯଦି ଆପଣ ବ୍ରିଟିଶ ଇଂଲିଶ ଟାକୁ ଫଲୋ କରୁନାହାନ୍ତି ରିଟିନ ରେ ଆପଣ ଫସିଯିବେ ସାର୍। So don't try to commit that mistake, don't make that mistake. Always understand that ଆମେ ସ୍ପୋକନ ପଢୁଛନ୍ତି, ତ ସ୍ପୋକନ ରେ ଆପଣ ଆମେରିକାନ ଇଂଲିଶ କୁହନ୍ତୁ ବା ବ୍ରିଟିଶ କୁହନ୍ତୁ, doesn't matter at all. You can speak, everybody is going to appreciate. But the moment you are talking about written English, always follow British English only. No American English is allowed in written English. That's very important. Okay. So right now, whenever you can offer somebody a help or make suggestion, shall is used for British English. British ଲୋକମାନେ shall ବ୍ୟବହାର କରିକି ଏଇ sentence କରନ୍ତି. And American people, they always use should. Let me give an example. Shall I call a taxi? Suppose ମୁଁ ବସିଛି like ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କହିଲି ସାର୍ ଟିକେ ଟ୍ୟାକ୍ସି ଡାକିଦେବି କି, ତ you are trying to make an offer. Okay, ସାର୍ ମୁଁ ଆପଣଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ଟ୍ୟାକ୍ସି ଡାକି ଦଉଛି, ଆପଣ ନିଜେ ଆଗଭର ହେଇ କୁହନ୍ତି, so that is something. Shall I call a taxi? That is called American English, sorry British English. And American English କେମିତି ସେଟା କହିବେ? Should I call a taxi? That's all. Shall I go for shall we go for a walk? ଆପଣ କୁହନ୍ତି ସଜେସନ, shall I go for a walk? Should we go for a walk? Like that. So whether it is suggestion or offering help, shall is used for British English and should is for American. ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଆସିଲା ଆପଣ କୋଉଟା ବ୍ୟବହାର କରିବେ? ୟୁଜ ଆମେରିକାନ, ୟୁଜ ଆମେରିକାନ, ଡୋଣ୍ଟ ୟୁଜ ଫଲୋ ବ୍ରିଟିଶ। ବ୍ରିଟିଶ କେବଳ ଖାଲି ରିଟିନ, ତ ଆପଣ କହିବେ ସାର୍ ପୁଣି ରିଟିନ ପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ ସ୍ପୋକନ ପାଇଁ ଗୋଟେ, ଦ୍ୟାଟ ଇଜ ଦ ପ୍ରୋବ୍ଲେମ। नो, ଆପଣ ତ ଦିଟାକୁ ଏକା କରିକି ରଖିଛନ୍ତି ବୋଲି ଇଂଲିଶ କହିପାରୁନାହାନ୍ତି। ରିମେମ୍ବର there are two English, one is called written English, other is called spoken English. And from the origin point of view there are two English, one is called American English, other is called British English. And from onwards ଆପଣ ଜାଣୁଛନ୍ତି ଇଂଲିଶ ଟା ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ କାହିଁ କଷ୍ଟ ହଉଥିଲା, କାହିଁକି ନା ଦିଟା ଇଂଲିଶ ଆପଣ ପଢୁଥିଲେ, ଆପଣ ଜାଣୁନଥିଲେ ଏଟା ଆମେରିକାନ ନା ବ୍ରିଟିଶ। You are supposed to follow both the things. You have been told shall ଟା ଲଗେଇଲେ ହବ, will ଟା ଲଗେଇଲେ, କାହିଁକି ଲଗେଇଲେ ହବ ଆଜି ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ଆପଣ ଏକ୍ସପ୍ଲାନେସନ ପାଇଛନ୍ତି? I shall go ମାନେ ମୁଁ ଯିବି, I will go ମାନେ ଯିବି, କଣ ପାଇଁ ଯିବି ସାର୍? କାହିଁ shall ଲାଗିବ, କାହିଁ will ଲାଗିବ? ଦିଟାକ ଲାଗିବ, କାହିଁକି? No explanation that time. ଆଜି ଆପଣ ଏକ୍ସପ୍ଲାନେସନ ଜାଣିଲେ, one is called American English or the British English. follow ଗୋଟେ follow କରନ୍ତୁ, don't follow both, you will be in trouble for spoken. But whenever it comes to written English, follow British English. Don't follow America. That's the things. Okay. So this is all about making offer help or making suggestion. So that you should ব্যবহার করুন. Okay. The next one, asking for permission. You are trying for permission. এটা তো ଆପଣ ପୁରା ପିଲାଦିନୁ ୟୁଜ କରୁଛନ୍ତି. କେମିତି କହିଲେ? May I come in, sir? Okay. You can say, may I come in, sir? Can I answer this question? So you're asking for permission. So may is more common. କାହିଁକି ନା ଆପଣ ପିଲାଦିନୁ ୟୁଜ କରୁଛନ୍ତି ବୋଲି ଆପଣ ଭାବୁଛନ୍ତି ସାର୍ ମୁଁ ତ କ୍ୟାନ୍ କୋଡ୍ ୟୁଜ କରିନି. It's because the fact that you never use throughout your school days ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ସାର୍ ଶିଖେଇଥିଲେ may I come in, sir? May I come in, sir? ତ may ଟା ପାଟିରେ ଲାଖିକି ରହିଯାଇଛି. That's the things. And it's not wrong also. You can use it. But the same equivalently you can also use can I come in, sir? That's possible. But ଯେତେବେଳେ ଆପଣ କହୁଛନ୍ତି can I come in, sir, ଏଟା ଠିକ ଲାଗୁନି. କ'ଣ ପାଇଁ? ନା ପିଲାଦିନ ଗୋଟେ ଗୋଟେ ଜିନିଷ ପଢିକି ଆସିଛନ୍ତି ନା. ଆପଣ ଯେତେବେଳେ ବି ଜାଣିଲେ actually may I come in, may I come in, sir, ତ obviously ସାର୍ଙ୍କୁ permission ମାଗି ମାଗିକା may I come in ଟା ଏ ଟଙ୍ଗ ସହିତ ପୁରା ରହିଯାଇଛି. So the moment you are trying to something can I come in, sir, ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ଠିକ ଲାଗୁନି. But remember you can use both can and may and depends upon you. ଯଦି ଆପଣ may ଟା use କରୁଛନ୍ତି and you are very comfortable, start maintain the status quo. ତାମାନେ ସେଇ ଜିନିଷଟା use କରନ୍ତୁ. I don't have any problems and it is not wrong also. Okay. So can I answer this question? May I answer this question? Both are correct. You are trying to asking for permission. ଆପଣ ଯେତେବେଳେ ହାତ ଟେକୁଛନ୍ତି or you are trying to put the hands up like you are doing or you are trying to asking for permission. So that time you can use can or you can use may. So this is I think ଆମେ ଟିକେ ଅଧିକ ପଢିବାନି because tomorrow also we are going to study. Now coming to your doubt. ଆପଣ କିଛି doubt ଅଛି you can ask me. ଯାହା ବି ଏତେ ପର୍ଯ୍ୟନ୍ତ ମୁଁ ପଢେଇଲି you have any doubt you can ask me. Otherwise